Welcome to the Restaurant Marketing Podcast, presented by AppetizingSites.com. Appetizing Sites is helping to change the industry by allowing restaurant owners greater control over their website content and design by providing them with a powerful set of website management tools and features that are mobile optimized for better user experience. Thanks for listening. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for episode 3 of the podcast. Today we're going to discuss 4 awesome ways to create a great restaurant website blog. Most of you probably don't know that effective restaurant blogs can actually create more customers. So here's a simple fact for you. Businesses that blog 15 times or more per month actually receive 5 times the amount of traffic as businesses that don't. So let me give that to you again. Businesses that blog 15 times or more per month receive 5 times the amount of traffic as businesses that don't. Some other interesting stats that came from a recent study. Websites that with 51 to 100 pages generate 48% more traffic than websites with 1 to 50 pages. Companies that increase their blogging from 3 to 5 times per month to 6 to 8 times per month. So again, going from 3 to 5 to 6 to 8 per month also can double their leads. The average company will see 45% growth in traffic when increasing blog articles from 11 to 20 to 21 to 50. And companies with over 200 blog articles, I know it's a monster, 200 blog articles have 5 times the leads of those with 10 or fewer. Just think about that. So when I talk about leads and I talk about getting more business, obviously we're talking about customers here. So I know what you're thinking. Restaurant owners don't have, they're so much different than other businesses. A lead is not like getting a new customer, but in reality, they are. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it. They're completely different. But more importantly, restaurants get more business than regular businesses do from having a good listing in the search engines than a regular normal business. Most carpenters or businesses that flower shops or anything like that, they don't get anywhere near the amount of traffic that a person, a restaurant owner can get, because people search actively when they're out for a place to eat. So imagine a family driving home from a long day of traveling and they just want to find a place to sit, relax, enjoy a good meal, have a nice glass of wine. Unfortunately, they can't make up their minds. Little Johnny's in the back saying he wants to go to a pizza place. Mom and Dad obviously want to go and relax and have something a little less stressful and more edible for their children. Not just throwing some pizza down the throat. So they Google it. Up comes a number of different websites after their search for good restaurants near Philadelphia, for example. This is where it gets really important. The more pages that you have on your website, the more likely you are to show up in the search results. Don't believe me? Google just about anything. You'll find that Google works very hard to make sure that the sites on the first page have lots of pages to them and relevant content. The brilliance of having a 50 to 100 page blog on the back end of your website is that you can cover so many topics about your restaurant that you can't fill on your normal home pages or homepage or regular pages. This is why businesses with more content get more traffic. So the natural question you're probably going to ask yourself right now is, what do I write about? I can't possibly come up with 50 pages of content to write about, 50 pages of information. Well, it's actually easier than you think to have a 50-page blog if you understand who your customers are and how to tell a story. So the first thing that we want to do, the first awesome, easy way to create a good blog is write with your customers in mind. So please understand that your restaurant has a target demographic. Even McDonald's, Papa John's, they all have target demographics. Obviously, the McDonald's demographic is going to be a little bit different than yours, I hope, so make sure you know who yours is. When writing, you want to keep this target demographic in mind. What questions do they want answered? Most people looking online have a question. Again, the question we asked earlier is, where can I find a good restaurant in Philadelphia? That's a question. So when you think about that person, think about the questions that they want answered. They want to know where you are, when you're open, what your specials are. Do you have a bar so that they can get a glass of wine? What options are on the kids' menu? Do you have a gluten-free option? What if I'm a vegetarian? Different things like that. Obviously allergies are very, very important. So, if you're allergy free in any certain way, it's always good to have that information on your website, and it's good to blog about. So create this target persona in your mind and then write for him or her. I know it sounds silly, but when I'm writing, I think about a 50-year-old man who owns a small Italian restaurant that he runs with his family. He's a good person. He has great food. He loves to chat with his customers, but he's awful at marketing. He needs help, and he needs help to learn how to find more diners. His first question when he goes Googling is, how does a website help me get more business? And that's what I want to be able to answer with my blog. So we talked about telling a story. The second point is make sure you're telling a story. Nobody knows Franco's restaurant. Yep, I even named my target persona Franco. Nobody knows Franco's restaurant better than he knows it himself. Should he be writing about his daily happy hour specials? Probably not. Should, not unless he's really trying to attach an engaging story to it. Everybody has happy hour specials. So a basic blog post about this would be uninteresting and pretty mundane. So instead, he should be telling people what makes his restaurant special and the stories that revolve around his business. For example, my persona Franco could write about how he imports his cheese from Italy, or that he has been cooking the same lasagna dish for 45 years or 25 years, a special recipe handed down through 7 generations that was taught to him by his grandmama. He should explain that his technique for creating the pasta noodles takes him 3 hours because in Italy, creating pasta noodles is unique to each region. And then he should explain what is unique about his region and why it makes his food that much better. I know it sounds silly, but customers connect to these types of stories about other people and will want to be part of that story. They'll want to comment about it. They'll want to say, hey, you know what? I cook a similar type lasagna dish that was handed down from my grandmama, or I recently visited that region in Spain, in Italy. They'll talk about that and they'll engage you. And that's when you start to develop a community around your blog. Now, if Franco can be creative, which we know he can from the wonderful menu he creates, his blog should be too. Tell people what makes you special and never, ever be afraid to discuss the history or tradition of what made your restaurant what it is today. If you're new, obviously, then you don't have a big, rich tradition. But if you've been in business for 30 years and you're just, you want to share some of those experiences, it really will have an impact on your customers. So the next tip is be specific. This will help with search engine optimization keywords. Really, what that means is this will help Google to understand what they're supposed to be looking for. Google uses an algorithm to determine what is relevant to display on the first page of search. What this means is that they look at the words used in the search, in that search phrase, and compare it with all the websites in the world that use the same words, keywords. From there, the algorithm determines which websites are the most relevant and orders the results accordingly. So again, going back to my original search phrase, when they're looking for a good restaurant in Philadelphia, you want to make sure that you are talking about the fact that you're in Philadelphia on your website. The reason you want to be very specific is because you never know what people will search for. Google says that 15% of all searches have never, ever been seen before. So think about that for a second. With all the searches that have been done over the past 15 years of Google's existence, 15% of all the searches they see every day have never been searched for. Being specific allows Google to index all your content for those new and unique searches and gives you a better chance of ranking in the first page for those searches. For example, since Franco has Bratonero cheese on his menu, an imported Italian cheese, he should also describe it as a soft, relatively young, and incredibly tasty cow's milk cheese from the Piedmont region in Italy. Bratonero, a younger and softer cheese than its cousin Braduro, has a semi-hard texture and a dense, slightly piquant flavor. Now that is being very specific and unique. And if someone happens to be looking for Bratonero cheese, there's more information on his website than just the mention of its name. The fourth thing is don't forget to tell people what you want them to do. One very common mistake made by all types of businesses, from mom and pops to Fortune 500 companies, is forgetting to give people direction. Think about how many advertisements you see or hear on a daily basis that are only branding without a call to action. Once you have sparked interest in your readers, you need to tell them what to do next. Should they move on? Should they make a reservation? Should they subscribe to a newsletter for coupons? Should they join your loyalty program? Just think about just the television that you watch today. When you watch these commercials, please just think about whether or not there's a branding message or a call to action, and think about the impact it'll make on you and what you should do next. So speaking of next steps, the most important thing you need to do right now is take action. Don't just sit there and think about what's being said. Do something. Get to your computer. Write down for 10 minutes. Write down what you think are good blog posts and just start writing about them. That's all. Just take action. Tell a story. Your blog does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be filled with unique, relevant content. Don't hold back because you're worried that it won't be the greatest post ever written about lemon chicken, for example. Chances are really good that 100 people have written about lemon chicken today. And put another way, just because another restaurant serves lemon chicken doesn't mean you can't also serve your own unique version of lemon chicken. And so the same principle applies to your blog content. Everyone is unique, and everyone has a unique experience and perspective. If you apply those unique experiences, stories, etc., to your blog content, you'll always be presenting your business in a fresh and interesting way. Get yourself started today, and you'll have 50 blog posts, stories before you know it. Now, watch for my call to action. If you don't have a website blog, please contact me. If you're not sure where to begin, need somebody to write blog posts for you, I've got you covered. My company has you covered. Email me at adam@appetizingsites.com or through our contact form on our website, or call us at 267-225-3344. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. This has been the Restaurant Marketing Podcast with your host, Adam Roseland. Thank you for listening.
Okay.